Ella Sanders and Jacqueline Thomas had dementia. Ellen Johnston, Parkinson's disease. Each needed more care than their families could provide. They needed a safe place to live.
I was relieved because I was told it was 24-hour care.
All three ended up in unlicensed boarding homes in Tarrant County. Jacqueline and Ella are now dead.
She didn't deserve this. Nobody deserved that.
And Ellen says she nearly died.
Well, I'm just lucky that it happened to me.
We blurred photos of the pressure wounds she says she got while in that home because they're so graphic.
I went to hell.
When we began digging, we found those operators had been on the state's radar for years. But here's something important to know. Loopholes in state law allow boarding homes to operate often without licensing and oversight. But if you have more than 3 residents, the state does require licensing as an assisted living facility for homes that help with needs like medications, bathing, or eating. But we found that some operators just ignore the law and avoid oversight by concealing how many people they're housing.
The consequences of defying the licensure standards are so relatively minimal compared to the gain to be had, that if you do a simple cost-benefit analysis, it's worth the risk over and over and over again.
Let's talk about this Grand Prairie house on Olympia Drive. 3 times between 2018 and 2019, regulators found the operator, Tiffany Brown, running an unlicensed assisted living facility. Twice in 2020, records say she gave an inspector false information. In 2021, when she wouldn't let an inspector in the house, the state sued. They got a court order to get inside, and regulators again found her in violation.
My mom was in skilled nursing, and I needed a place for her to go.
Stacy Seifert didn't know Brown's history when she moved her mother, Jacqueline Thomas, a dementia patient, into the house last September. 6 months later, in March of this year,
And then the paramedics told me that they found her on the floor covered in her own fecal matter.
court records say Jacqueline suffered sores on her buttocks, so badly inflamed that Jacqueline could not lay on her back.
She wasn't eating, she wasn't drinking, she never walked again.
Police arrested Brown on suspicion of an injury to an elderly person charge in Jacqueline's case. Brown told police an employee didn't show up for work and was unaware the patients were alone.
Did you ever hear from Tiffany after she passed?
Just about paying $600.
Brown wrote via text, "I guess you're not paying me. I pray God has mercy on you." We caught up with Brown at the courthouse.
Please get out of my face.
Jacqueline died April 17th.
She passed in her sleep, so thank goodness for that.
Seifert found Brown's boarding house through a consultant who finds housing for the elderly.
I asked if she's had any problems, any complaints, and they said no, she's great.
The consultant told us operators like Brown pay him to refer clients. He told his clients had complained that Brown verbally abused them and wouldn't let them use the phone. He said he recommended Brown anyway to Jacqueline's daughter. He said it fit her budget. He told us he did not tell her about the complaints. There was another boarding home too, this one on Saddleback Drive in Arlington. Kara Jefferson's mother moved here in 2020. Jefferson recalled the first visit.
You could smell the urine. Then that's when I started seeing blood. And I saw bruises on her body. And I said, well, what's going on? That's when, she had said they won't feed me or give me anything to drink.
She said the operator of the home, Irika Hamilton, was there.
And I asked her what happened to my mom. And I can't remember the answer that she even gave me.
These graphic photos show the wound on Ella's back.
13 days later, she was gone. Then when you get the death certificate, that said it was from an infection.
Records show inspectors previously found Hamilton running unlicensed assisted living facilities. They got a court order in 2014 to stop her. And in 2019, when state regulators went to the Saddleback house to inspect, they cut their visit short because they felt threatened.
That is so frightening to know that she was still doing this years later.
The WFAA analysis found regulators discovered nearly 300 houses statewide from 2021 to 2023 in violation of licensing requirements.
The way they get around it is to say they're not providing any services. The state agencies don't have enough staff to check on it, and they only check on it when there's a problem.
Retired Texas A&M professor Catherine Halls is a long-term care expert.
In the unlicensed facilities, it's grim.
After Ella Sanders died, Ellen Johnston moved into a different Arlington home, also run by Hamilton.
We went and looked at the house. Everything was clean. We were told all the right things.
Did you think this was a licensed facility?
Absolutely. I absolutely felt safe and protected sending her there.
4 months later,
I told the caretaker that I was going to go to the hospital. So we called the ambulance.
And when they called me, they said it's a stage 4 bed sore to the bone, infected.
and what was Arika's response to all this?
She wanted payment. And I'm like, that's your concern? My mom is fighting for her life.
Ellen now lives in a nursing home. The wound is still healing 2.5 years later.
I have suffered so much with this bed sore.
Hamilton settled the lawsuits filed by Ellen and Ella's family. Her attorney told us those settlements prevent her from addressing those allegations.
There's people out here referring to places like this without any kind of fact checks. Are they licensed? Are they operating legally? Nobody's checking that.
The Texas Health and Human Services Department told us it's not a criminal matter to operate an unlicensed assisted living facility. Instead, it's a civil matter. And if a person keeps doing it, the state says it can get a court to order them to stop. However, our investigation found examples in state records of operators ignoring those court orders.
I think what you're talking about is really the regulations lacking teeth. We need to have a system in place that's ensuring that people aren't being abused and neglected.
Tiffany Brown is currently out of business and out on bond. Someone else operates the house on Olympia. We went by Arika Hamilton's house on Saddleback, the one Ella lived in. What do y'all do here?
Take care of the
An employee told us the clients have dementia. What do y'all do for them?
everything.
There's more to this story, and we'll keep digging on unlicensed boarding homes. I'm Senior Investigative Reporter Tanya Iser.